Hi kids, this is your teacher Neri. And guess what? It is our storytelling time. Are you excited?
Yeah!
Because I am very excited. So if you are excited, please sit back, relax, and enjoy our story. Let's begin. Hello, good day. I am Teacher Neri, and today is Sunday. So it is the Lord's Day, and it is also our time for Bible story. So today's story is The Shepherd Boy and the Giant. The Shepherd Boy and the Giant, told by Raymond H. Woolsey and illustrated by Manuel S. Rafael. Let's begin. David! David! Joel hurried through the fields, calling his friend. David was somewhere taking care of his father's sheep. But there were so many hills and trees. Joel could not see him. David! David! He called again. I am over here, Joel! David answered, and soon Joel found David and the sheep. The sheep had been eating grass all morning. Then David had taken them to a spring to drink water. Now the sheep were all lying down, resting in the shade of the trees. David had a sling in his hand. The sling was made of a long piece of leather. David was throwing stones with it. Do you see the yellow leaf on the tree, Joel? David pointed to the spot. Watch that leaf! David put a small stone in his sling. Around and around, he slung it above his head. Suddenly, he let go one end of his sling. Zing! The stone flew out of the sling. It hit the yellow leaf and knocked it off the tree. That was good, David! Joel cheered his friend. You can always hit what you aim for. I have been practicing while I have been watching the sheep, explained David. It helps me in taking care of them. Sometimes, wolves or wild dogs attack the sheep. They want to kill one to eat it. But I use my sling to kill the enemies of the sheep. Last week, even a lion tried to catch a sheep. But I saw the lion, and I killed him. Can you imagine how brave and very courageous David is? Imagine, that's already a lion, and he was not scared. Joel looked at his friend. He was very proud of him. Then he remembered why he had come looking for David. David, your father wants you to come home. He wants you to take some food to your brothers. I will be the one to look after the sheep while you are gone. I will be happy to take some food to my brothers, replied David. They are in the army. Perhaps I can join the army too and fight for the enemy. They are making fun of our God. But you are too young to join the army, David. And in the army, you could not use your sling. In the army, they fight with bows and arrows and with big swords and spears. David had 7 brothers, and he was the youngest. 3 of his brothers were in the army. He hurried home to get the food to take to his brothers. If the army is fighting today, you must be careful, warned David's father, and let me know how your brothers are. David tied the food in the large bags. Then he placed the bags on the back of a donkey. He was careful that there should be the same amount on each side of the donkey's back. He did not forget to take his sling and his small bag. At last, when he was ready, he waved goodbye to his father and started out to the army camp, about 10 kilometers away. At last, David could see the tents at the army camp where his brothers were. The camp was on the top of a long hill. Across the valley, on top of another long hill, were the tents of the enemy. The enemy had come to take the land away from David's people. That is why David's brothers were in the army. As David neared the army camp, he heard much noise. The big battle was about to begin. David was able to find his brothers and give them the food he had brought. Suddenly, a great big giant came out from among the enemy's soldiers on the other side of the valley. The giant began to shout toward David's side. The giant was twice as tall as most men. He was the biggest man David had ever seen. He had a great metal helmet or hat on his head. He had metal covering his chest too. In his hand, he held a big spear. Who is the giant? And what is he shouting? David asked his brothers. That is Goliath, they replied. He is bragging that he can kill any of us. He can too. He is so big. And he is making fun of our God. He says our God is weak. He says there's no need for both armies to fight. Another man added, he has offered that if one of us can kill him, then his whole army will be our slaves. But if he kills our best soldier, then we must be their slaves. We are all afraid of him. I'm not afraid of him, said David. I wish I could have a chance to fight him. He ought not to talk about our God like that. Shh, warned one of David's brothers. You are too young. Why do you not go back home and take care of our father's sheep? But someone else had heard David's brave words and hurried off to tell the king. Soon, the king called for David to come to his tent. Why do you think you can fight this giant, David? Asked the king. You are still very young, and all our big soldiers are afraid of him. Sir, David replied respectfully to the king, "I have killed lions and bears, which tried to take my father's sheep. And besides, God will help me to kill Goliath." "You are very brave," said the king. "We will see what you can do against Goliath. But first, you should put on this helmet and shield. They will help to protect you from the giant. That is the way our soldiers dress." David tried on the armor. "But they are too big and too heavy. I will dress just as I do when I am taking care of the sheep." David decided. He picked up his sling and his bag and a strong stick and started down the hill toward the giant. David's brothers and the king and all the soldiers were cheering him. David came to a small stream at the bottom of the hill. In the bottom of the stream, where the water flowed over them, he found some small stones, round and smooth. He picked up 5 of the smooth stones and put them into his bag. They would fit nicely into his sling. Then he started toward where the giant was waiting. "Hey!" yelled the giant Goliath when he saw David. "Who sent out this little boy to fight me? I am the biggest soldier that ever was. Do you think I'm a dog? Or do you have to come chase me with a stick? Come here, boy. I will make bird food out of you." The giant started running toward David. But David was not afraid. He also started running toward the giant. Then he stopped. He took a smooth stone out of his bag and put it into his sling. Around and around he swirled it, just as he had done in the fields at home. Zing! The stone flew straight through the air. It hit Goliath right in the middle of the forehead and sank down. Down fell the giant, right on his face, onto the ground. Now it was the turn for the enemy soldier to be afraid. If only a boy could kill their giants, how strong would be his big brothers be? They wondered. But they did not stay to find out. They all ran away as fast as they could go, and they did not come back to bother David's people for a long, long time. The king was very, very proud of David. His brothers were proud of him too. And so was his father when he told him of how David had killed the giant. But most of all, David was glad that God had shown that he does take care of those who bravely do the right. That's the end of our story. The shepherd boy and the giant. I hope you like it. And can you see it's already dark? I think it's already 6 o'clock in the evening and I gotta go. I think I gotta go. I'm so alone in here. Once again, this is Teacher Neri and wishing you all a blessed Sunday and see you again on my next storytelling time video. Bye, kids! Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. Share this video with your friends. Don't forget to leave your comments down below. Once again, this is Teacher Neri and see you on my next video. Bye bye!